Orphan Pamuk Museum of Innocence. Museum of Innocence I read twice. First time some 15 years ago, and second time very recently. I loved it both times. One of those books when I'm fascinated with the gift of writing, preceded by gifts of perception and sensibility. For the story Orphan Pamuk narrated in his book, most of us would need 10 sentences, but he does it in 500 pages, and you're loving every single word. His sentences are both light and dense. They come down easily, but they hit all the right places. Among other things, it's about time and time passing and time consuming. I have always been fascinated and intimidated by time and transience, ever since I can remember. As a child, I felt sorry for grown-ups, for they have already spent significant part of their time. I thought they must have envied us, children, because we've just started our time and our timeline curve was going up. Somewhere in my late 30s, I realized time is going to do to me what time does to everybody else. I noticed my first grays and my first wrinkles. What I felt was surprise more than anything else. Me too? Really? Didn't see that coming. In Greek mythology, there is more than one god to describe time. There is Kronos. He is the one that goes on and on, never stops, never goes backwards. He is represented as an old wise man with beard. He is a lot about quantity. And there is also Kairos, known as god of happy moments. He is more about quality. He is represented as a young man with wings, always walking on his tiptoes so he can fly easier. He has a little wisp of hair above his forehead, and from behind he's completely bald. Kairos is reminding us that happy moments are flying all the time surrounding us. We have to be wise and recognize those moments as they're coming. We have to be alert and grab Kairos for his little wisp as he's approaching, because when he passes us by, we can't grab him anymore, since he's bald at the back of his head. He's escaped, and so has the moment. In other words, seize the moment. Carpe diem. I was always more of a Kronos person. I wanted continuity, security, certainty, guarantees, constant doses of happiness, like antibiotics. I would have preferred longevity over impactfulness. No ups and downs. But we all know life doesn't work like that. And it's good it doesn't. It would be very boring, uneventful, uninspiring, unwise living. Which brings me back to Kairos, this playful and joyful companion. Looks like I am becoming more of a Kairos person. Let's enjoy without worrying how long it will last. Let's smile, even though tomorrow we might cry. Let's spend money, even though tomorrow we might regret it. For there is a very good chance that it will last, and we won't cry tomorrow, and we'll have no regrets. And even if we do, we might still find it was worth it. No need to worry about what our tomorrow's self is going to think or feel, because tomorrow's self doesn't exist. We are about to create it with how we live today, and joy always generates more joy. Why do we fail to recognize happy moments? If you're like me, it's because you expect too much. You're so-called perfectionist. The word perfectionist might have positive connotation, but trust me, it's not positive. Perfectionist is someone who always wants more and pretends not to want anything at all. Perfectionist might as well be called pretender for faking life, since perfection doesn't exist. In Islam, builders and architects always make mistakes deliberately because they believe perfection is only from God. Maybe we are raised to long for our perfect moment, that one moment in time and nothing is ever good enough. It can always be more perfect, more special, more impactful. But everything is. That should be enough. This is what Orphan Pamuk says at the beginning of his book. Quote, "In fact, no one recognizes the happiest moment of their lives as they're living it. It may well be that in a moment of joy, one might sincerely believe that they're living that golden instant now, even having lived such a moment before. But whatever they say, in one part of their hearts, they still believe in the certainty of a happier moment to come. Because how could anyone, and particularly anyone who is still young, carry on with the belief that everything could only get worse? If a person is happy enough to think he has reached the happiest moment of his life, he will be hopeful enough to believe his future will be just as beautiful, more so." End of quote. I have always been one of those people who wake up thinking that today might be the best day of my life, whatever that might mean. I have always expected great future for me, thinking that God works in miraculous ways and He can always find a way to do something grand for me, whatever that might mean. Happiness for me was always to come, always to be expected, always dwelling in the future. But this is what I've learned. It doesn't work that way. You have to roll up your sleeves and start digging, because getting dirty is the only way to come out clean. Things don't just happen. Life loves braves. Life loves co-creators. Life loves when you're pushing your limits, especially if you're pushing towards life itself.